If your life feels stuck, it's not bad luck, fate, or the universe ignoring you. It's because a silent pattern inside you has been running your life, shaping your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, and every decision you make. And the moment you finally see that pattern clearly, everything shifts. Not because the world changes, but because you do. This audiobook is not here to comfort you. It is here to confront you, to expose the habits you've normalized, the excuses you've rehearsed, and the cycles you've silently repeated. Your life is built from the inside out. Your thoughts are the blueprint, your habits are the structure, and your standards are the walls you live within. If you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of wasting time, tired of knowing you're capable of more while acting like less, this is your moment. Not to wait, to wake up. The whisper you feel inside, "You can't keep living like this," is not weakness, it's intelligence. Science calls it neuroplasticity. Spirituality calls it alignment. Energy calls it coherence. It's your higher self demanding new patterns, new standards, and a new level of honesty. This audiobook will guide you there, directly, unapologetically, and without excuses. If you're ready to rise above the noise, like the video. It tells YouTube you're choosing awareness over autopilot. Subscribe now, and don't miss the next chapter in your evolution. And remember, the deepest transformation belongs to those who stay until the very end. In Chapter 1. Stop blaming others and take back your power. If you want to move forward in life, you must first confront the truth most people spend their entire lifetime avoiding. Nothing changes out there until something changes in you. You cannot upgrade your circumstances while clinging to the mindset that created them. You cannot build a stronger life while operating from a weaker identity. And you cannot rise while pouring your energy into blame, excuses, or resentment. This is the first law of transformation, and it is non-negotiable. You must reclaim responsibility for every part of your life. Most people never do this. They spend years pointing outward. They say, "I wasn't supported. I didn't get the same opportunities. They didn't believe in me. Life wasn't fair." And maybe they're right. Maybe someone did fail them. Maybe their childhood shaped wounds they didn't choose. Maybe the system was unfair. But here's the hard reality. They keep living from that story long after the moment has passed. They carry old injustice like armor, not realizing it becomes a cage. Blame feels justified, but it steals your power. It keeps you emotionally reactive, mentally fragile, and spiritually disconnected from your own potential. It convinces you that your life is in someone else's hands. But you need to understand something deeply. The moment you blame, you hand over control. You become a passenger in your own life. You wait for someone else to change so you can change. You wait for the world to treat you better before you treat yourself better. And while you wait, nothing moves. Because waiting is not a strategy. Blaming is not a solution. And resentment is not a path forward. Real growth begins in the mirror. Not to judge yourself, but to be honest with yourself. To ask the questions no one asks because they're uncomfortable. What have I allowed? What have I repeated? Where have I settled? Who have I become by choosing the same reactions again and again? These questions are not punishment. They are the gateway back to your power. Because the moment you take responsibility, you stop being the victim of your life and start becoming its architect. Responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means everything is your possibility. It means you are no longer controlled by what happened, but guided by what you choose next. From a scientific perspective, this shift is profound. When you drop blame, your brain moves out of survival mode. Your nervous system becomes more regulated. Cortisol drops. Clarity increases. You regain the ability to plan, focus, and act. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decisions, wakes up. Taking responsibility literally upgrades your mental hardware. Spiritually, the shift is even more powerful. Blame keeps your energy locked in the past. Responsibility pulls your frequency into the present, the only place transformation is possible. When you reclaim your inner authority, you signal to life itself, I am ready to lead. And when you lead internally, life stops throwing chaos at you to wake you up. It starts responding to the new order you hold within. The strongest people you admire didn't start strong. They became strong. They were once insecure, unfocused, undisciplined, reactive. The difference is simple. They stopped blaming and started building. They looked inward, not outward. They faced the parts of themselves that were untrained, unhealed, or undisciplined. And each time they chose responsibility over blame, they rewired their identity. They broke the old narrative and wrote a new one. But responsibility is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront laziness, avoidance, fear, procrastination, emotional reactivity. It demands that you stop telling yourself the easy story and start telling yourself the true one. Not because you are wrong, but because you are capable of more. The discomfort you feel when taking responsibility is not weakness. It is the birth of strength. It is the moment your mind stops collapsing under pressure and starts building under pressure. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to fix something. One thought, one habit, one reaction, one choice. Each small shift is a reclaiming of your power, and power grows quickly when you stop leaking it into blame. People will notice. They will feel the shift in your presence. Your tone becomes calmer. Your decisions become sharper. Your energy becomes grounded. But more importantly, you will notice. You will trust yourself more. You will respect yourself more. You will feel the quiet strength of someone who is no longer waiting for life to be fair, because you have learned to be powerful regardless. The world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. So stop waiting to be rescued. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for justice, approval, or permission. Life does not bend to blaming. It bends to responsibility. And the moment you take full ownership of your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, and your direction, you shift into the only position from which a real life can be built. The position of the one in charge. This is where your transformation begins. Not with motivation, but with honesty. Not with inspiration, but with responsibility. Not by changing everything out there, but by fixing what's in you. Take back your power. Take responsibility for your life, and watch how everything that once felt impossible starts to move. Chapter 2. Do the work no one sees. Your hidden frequency. Most people only move when someone is watching. They perform discipline the way others perform for applause. They work when there is validation, when eyes are on them, when praise is possible. And the moment the applause fades, their effort fades with it. But the truth you must accept if you want a different life is simple and brutal. The work that actually changes your future is the work done with no audience, no praise, no recognition, and no instant reward. The people who grow are not the loud ones. They are the consistent ones. They are the ones who understand that progress is built in silence, that foundations are formed behind closed doors, that every breakthrough the world eventually sees is the result of countless invisible repetitions the world never saw. Nothing meaningful is built in the spotlight. Everything meaningful is built in the shadows. When you wake up early and study, no one claps. When you train your mind, when you read, when you practice a skill, when you sit in solitude and plan your life, no one notices. When you stay disciplined on the days when you feel tired, uninspired, or overlooked, no one congratulates you. But that is the work that matters. That is the work that separates the average from the exceptional. That is the work that writes the future. There is a reason unseen work is powerful. It is the purest expression of who you really are. Not the version you present to others. Not the curated version. Not the polished mask. The real you. The one who acts when there is no external reward. The one who chooses progress over comfort. The one who commits when no one is checking. This hidden version of you determines everything. Most people never meet the strongest version of themselves because they only show up when the conditions feel perfect. They wait until they're motivated. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until someone pushes them. And so their entire life becomes reactive instead of intentional. They mistake effort for performance. They mistake noise for growth. But the truth is, your private discipline becomes your public power. The identity you build in silence becomes the confidence you walk with in the world. From a neuroscience perspective, unseen work is where real rewiring happens. When you show up consistently in private, your brain begins forming stronger pathways for discipline, focus, and resilience. You condition your mind to follow your commands instead of your moods. You teach your nervous system that effort is normal, that discomfort is safe, that repetition is meaningful. Over time, this private consistency becomes a subconscious pattern. You don't need motivation. Your mind simply expects you to show up. Spiritually, unseen work changes your frequency. Every disciplined action sends a signal into your energetic field that says, I am becoming stronger. You begin to radiate a different presence, more grounded, more centered, more self-respecting. You don't need validation anymore because you validate yourself through action. You don't need the world to believe in you because you've learned how to believe in yourself through your own proof. Quiet confidence replaces loud insecurity. This is why the people who do unseen work always rise. They don't look the most talented. They don't shout the loudest. But they carry momentum. Slow, steady, unstoppable. They don't need to announce their journey. Their energy speaks for them. Their results reveal them. Their presence tells a story of discipline long before their achievements do. The work no one sees is where you develop that story. Wake up early, even when no one knows. Study when no one is watching. Practice your craft in silence. Build your habits without broadcasting them. Choose improvement without needing applause. Refine your skills when it's boring. Show up when it's lonely. Keep going when it feels like nothing is changing. Because something is changing. You. Your character is being built. Your discipline is being sharpened. Your mind is being trained. Your identity is being upgraded. And these upgrades compound. They grow quietly at first, undetected, unnoticed, invisible. But eventually, the accumulation becomes undeniable. The world will call it sudden success. You will know it was built in thousands of moments they never saw. So ask yourself honestly, what do you do when no one is watching? Do you build yourself or do you waste time? Do you choose discipline or distraction? Do you show up or do you hide? Your answers are not in your words. They are in your patterns. Starting today, become the person who trains in the dark, so you can rise in the light. Become the person whose consistency does not depend on attention. Become the person whose effort is guided by purpose, not applause. The world respects results, but only private discipline creates them. Do the work no one sees. Do it quietly. Do it repeatedly. Do it until your future has no choice but to take shape. Chapter 3. Cut the lazy talk and rewrite your inner commands. People are not held back by a lack of ability. They are held back by a lack of honesty. They speak about goals they never pursue. They talk about change they never commit to. They repeat the same lines. I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. I don't feel ready. Until those words become a lullaby that puts their life to sleep. And the hardest truth is this: lazy talk feels comforting, but it is the single greatest enemy of your potential. Talking about what you want creates the illusion of progress. It tricks your mind into feeling rewarded, even though nothing has happened. You feel satisfied because you described the future, even though you did nothing to build it. Meanwhile, days pass, weeks pass, years pass, and your life remains exactly where it was, because your actions never matched your words. This is the cycle that traps millions of people. They want change, but they speak more than they move. They want growth, but they let their moods decide their effort. They want discipline, but they negotiate with their excuses. They want a better life, but they choose comfort over progress every single day. You must wake up to this. You must recognize the cost. Every time you say later, you train your mind to delay your own evolution. Every time you say, I'm too tired, but scroll for hours, you teach your brain that distraction matters more than your future. Every time you promise yourself change but break that promise, you weaken the inner authority that drives your growth. If you want momentum, you need more than action. You need inner commands that override convenience. You need language that pushes you into movement instead of language that lets you escape responsibility. The mind obeys the words you repeat most. If your internal dialogue is soft, hesitant, full of escape routes, your life will be built on hesitation and escape. So here's the shift. You must stop narrating your dreams and start instructing your mind. Stop describing who you want to be and start commanding yourself into action. Stop speaking like someone who wishes and start speaking like someone who decides. From a neuroscience perspective, this matters more than you realize. Your brain doesn't just listen to your words, it rewires itself around them. When you repeatedly say, I'll start tomorrow, your brain forms pathways that prioritize delay. When you say, I don't feel ready, your nervous system associates discomfort with danger. But when you say, one small step now, your brain releases a different chemical pattern. Dopamine linked to action, not fantasy. You shift from avoidance to approach. Spiritually, lazy talk drags your frequency into stagnation. It keeps your energy field clogged with indecision, self-doubt, and low intention. Your words become the vibration you emit into life. And life responds to vibration, not empty declarations. When you speak with soft, inconsistent energy, you attract soft, inconsistent results. But when you speak with clear direction, when your words carry the force of someone who has decided, you align your internal field with forward movement. Lazy talk is not harmless. It is the slow erosion of your inner power, and if you don't cut it, it will quietly shape your entire identity. You will become someone who is always about to start. Someone who has endless plans, but no execution. Someone who dreams loudly, but moves slowly. And nothing in your life will change until your inner language does. So you must begin now. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. Cut the phrases that keep you small. Replace them with commands that pull you forward. When your mind says, later, you answer with, now is enough. When it says, I don't feel like it, you answer with, feelings aren't in charge. When it says, this is too hard, you answer with, one small action. When it says, I'll fail, you answer with, I'll learn. The goal is not perfection. The goal is alignment. Words that match action. Action that builds identity. Identity that shapes your future. You don't need louder desires. You need clearer directives. You don't need to hype yourself up. You need to stop giving your mind an escape hatch. Most people spend their whole life waiting for the right moment. But the right moment is created, not given. It appears the second you stop speaking like a hesitant version of yourself and start speaking like the person you want to become. You don't rise by talking. You rise by moving. You rise by instructing your mind instead of negotiating with it. You rise by earning your life through action, not describing your life through words. So cut the lazy talk. Rewrite your inner commands. And let your decisions, not your excuses, shape the direction of your life. Chapter 4. Choose long-term peace over short-term pleasure. The quickest way to ruin your future is to keep choosing what feels good now instead of what will feel right later. This is the trap almost everyone falls into. They trade long-term peace for short-term pleasure. They choose the easy escape instead of the meaningful path. They reach for comfort, distraction, stimulation, anything that gives a moment of relief, even if it costs them years of regret. Most people aren't suffering because they took the hard road. They're suffering because they took the easy one too often. They avoided discipline. They avoided effort. They avoided discomfort. They avoided facing themselves. And so their life became a collection of unaddressed problems, unbroken patterns, and unrealized potential. The late-night scrolling, the unhealthy habits, the impulsive spending, the shortcuts, the emotional reactions. These choices feel harmless in real time. They feel like small indulgences, but they are seeds, and seeds grow, not into peace, but into pressure. You don't feel the cost today. You feel it months later, years later, when your mind is restless, when your body is tired, when your goals are untouched, when your confidence is thin, when your life feels heavier than it should. Short-term pleasure is always expensive. It just sends the bill to your future self. You need to understand this deeply. Long-term peace does not come from ease. It comes from alignment. It comes from doing what strengthens you instead of what distracts you. It comes from building a life you don't need to escape from. That requires discipline. It requires clarity. It requires choosing discomfort now so you can experience freedom later. Look around. The people who grow, who rise, who stay grounded and steady through life. They don't think like the crowd. They don't ask, what feels good right now? They ask, what keeps me aligned a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now? That is the difference between someone who moves forward and someone who spins in circles for decades. From a scientific perspective, this entire dynamic is tied to dopamine. Your brain is wired to chase fast rewards. Every small impulse, checking your phone, procrastinating, scrolling, gives your mind a quick hit. But every quick hit lowers your ability to focus, reduces your capacity for discipline, and trains your brain to avoid anything that requires sustained effort. Over time, your mental circuitry gets rewired for immediate gratification. You lose the ability to delay reward, which is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. Spiritually, short-term pleasure drains your field. It scatters your energy, weakens your direction, and fragments your inner coherence. Every time you choose distraction over alignment, your frequency drops. You become reactive instead of intentional. You live fragmented instead of grounded. Peace requires coherence. Your thoughts, actions, and values moving in the same direction. Pleasure disrupts that coherence. Peace restores it. And here is the harsh truth. Peace is not passive. Peace is a practice. Peace must be earned. It is the result of difficult decisions made consistently. It grows from the moments you say, "No, this does not serve me. My future matters more than this impulse." Every time you choose alignment over escape, your future becomes lighter. Your mind becomes quieter. Your choices become cleaner. You begin to trust yourself again. So you must start training yourself to think ahead, not years ahead, not decades ahead, just 3 steps ahead. Before every decision, ask, does this move me forward? Does this protect my peace tomorrow? Does this strengthen the person I am becoming? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. You do not need to eliminate pleasure from your life. You need to eliminate the kind that steals more than it gives, the kind that leaves you empty, the kind that breaks your routines, the kind that derails your progress. Real pleasure is rooted in meaning. It doesn't drain your future, it supports it. Choosing long-term peace doesn't mean your life becomes boring. It means it becomes yours. It means you stop living in emotional chaos. It means you stop sabotaging your own growth. It means you start experiencing the deeper, quieter satisfaction that only discipline can create. It means waking up with clarity instead of regret. It means sleeping with a steady mind instead of racing thoughts. It means becoming someone you respect. People may not understand your choices. They may say you're too serious, too disciplined, too focused. Let them talk. They don't live with your consequences. They don't carry your regrets. They don't feel the weight of your unmet potential. You do. And you are the one who must protect your peace, not them. There is a level of inner calm that only comes from choosing the harder path, the path of restraint, the path of intention, the path of discipline. This calm is powerful. It changes how you walk, how you think, how you respond to life. It is a strength that grows quietly but transforms everything. So stop choosing comfort that costs you your future. Stop choosing pleasure that steals your growth. Stop making decisions for the version of you that only exists for the next 10 minutes. Choose the version of you who exists in 10 months. Choose the version of you who exists in 10 years. Choose peace. Choose alignment. Choose the life that feels right long after the moment has passed. That choice, even once, can change everything. And choosing it daily can change who you become entirely. Chapter 5. Respect your time like it actually matters. Most people live as if time is unlimited. They act as if there will always be another morning, another week, another chance. They postpone their growth, delay their dreams, and waste their hours on things that don't matter, forgetting the one reality they cannot escape. Time is the only resource you can never earn back. Once it's gone forever. You can rebuild money. You can rebuild health. You can rebuild confidence. But time is non-refundable. Time is non-negotiable. Time is non-repairable. And yet, it is the thing people protect the least. You must understand this deeply. Your life is not measured by years, but by how you spend the hours within them. Your future is shaped not by the big moments, but by the small decisions you make every single day, especially the ones you don't think matter. If you are careless with your hours, you will be careless with your life. If you give your time to distractions, your life will become a distraction. If you give your time to people who drain you, your life will reflect their chaos. Look at your routine with brutal honesty. How do you start your morning? Where does your focus go? Who or what keeps stealing your attention? How many hours slip through your fingers without purpose? Your calendar tells the truth about your priorities, not your words, not your intentions, not your wishes. If you claim you want success, but spend your evenings scrolling, your actions reveal the real story. If you say your growth matters but fill your days with noise, you are lying to yourself. Not because you are weak, but because you are unconscious. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Respecting your time means waking up to this reality. It means seeing your hours as sacred, not casual. It means choosing where your energy goes instead of letting the world choose for you. It means removing what drains you, what distracts you, what steals from your future. When you begin to take your time seriously, something powerful happens. Your entire life starts tightening into alignment. You gain clarity. Your mind becomes sharper. Your decisions become cleaner. You stop tolerating useless conversations, toxic people, emotional drama, pointless routines, and cheap entertainment. You stop giving your best hours to things that give you nothing back. From a neuroscience perspective, time respect is attention respect. Focus is a currency. Every distraction fragments your mental circuitry. Every dopamine-heavy habit, scrolling, checking, switching tasks, weakens your ability to concentrate and deepens your dependence on stimulation. But when you become intentional with your time, your brain recalibrates. Attention strengthens. Clarity increases. You regain the ability to choose long-term goals over short-term impulses. Spiritually, time is your energetic container. What you allow inside it becomes your frequency. When your time is chaotic, your energy becomes chaotic. When your time is wasted, your energy becomes scattered. But when your time is protected, your energy becomes powerful, coherent, directed. Your field strengthens, your intuition sharpens. You begin to attract what aligns with your disciplined state. This is why respecting your time changes your entire identity. It is a declaration. My life matters. My future matters. I matter. It is one of the most profound forms of self-respect. You don't need to be busy every hour. You don't need a color-coded schedule. You don't need to grind endlessly. What you need is intentionality, purpose, awareness, the courage to say no. Most people are not overwhelmed because they have too much to do. They are overwhelmed because they allow too much that doesn't matter. Respecting your time means doing fewer things, but doing them better. It means letting go of everything that distracts you from who you are becoming. It means understanding that every yes is a no to something else. And many people ruin their future by saying yes to things they never should have entertained. Today, you must begin protecting your time as if your life depends on it, because it does. Start by identifying your sacred hours. The first hour of your morning, the hour before bed, or any window where your mind is quiet and your energy is clean. Guard these hours fiercely. Let no one and nothing take them from you. Then, look at your environment. Who drains your time? Who distracts you? Who pulls your attention into their chaos? Reduce your exposure. You cannot build a powerful life surrounded by people who waste their own. You will be tempted to fall back into old habits. The world will try to steal your focus. Your phone will try to control your attention. Your impulses will try to dominate your day. But every time you take your time back, you take your life back. Every time you choose focus over noise, you strengthen your future. This is not about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about being intentional. It's about refusing to treat your minutes like they are worthless. When you respect your time, life begins to respect your effort. When you protect your time, your results accelerate. When you prioritize your time, you prioritize your future. Stop living like you have endless tomorrows. Stop giving your best hours to meaningless things. Stop allowing distractions to decide your destiny. Your time is your life. Respect it. Guard it. Use it wisely. Because nothing will change out there until you change what you do with the hours in here. Chapter 6. Let go of comfort and chase real growth fast. Comfort is seductive. It feels safe. It feels familiar. It feels gentle. But beneath that softness lies the truth. People avoid their entire lives. Comfort is the slowest form of self-destruction. It doesn't ruin you overnight. It ruins you quietly, gradually, silently, one easy choice at a time. You stay in the job that drains you because it feels safe. You stay in the habits that keep you small because they feel familiar. You stay within the boundaries of who you used to be because it feels easy. And years pass while nothing changes. Not because you lacked potential, but because you worshipped comfort more than growth. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they settle. Comfort tricks them into believing they can wait. It whispers, "You'll have more time later. You're not ready yet. This isn't the right moment." And they listen. They spend years negotiating with their dreams, convincing themselves that delaying their life is somehow safer than living it. Meanwhile, discomfort, the very thing they fear, is the only thing that would have transformed them. Growth demands discomfort. There is no version of a stronger, sharper, more resilient you that emerges without friction. You cannot stay comfortable and expect to evolve. You cannot remain in what feels easy and expect to reach what feels meaningful. You cannot cling to the familiar and expect to discover your potential. These are incompatible realities. You must choose. From a scientific perspective, stepping outside your comfort zone activates brain circuits responsible for adaptation, learning, and resilience. Your nervous system expands its capacity to handle stress. Your mind becomes more flexible. Your threshold for challenge increases. Discomfort literally rewires your brain for strength. Comfort freezes it in place. Spiritually, comfort lowers your frequency. It dulls your intuition. It numbs your inner fire. It keeps you looping through the same patterns because your energy field never stretches into new territory. Growth, however, increases energetic pressure. It forces you to confront fears, limitations, and beliefs you've outgrown. It pulls you into a higher state of being, where your actions, identity, and purpose align. If your life feels stuck, it's not because you lack opportunities. It's because you're still choosing what feels safe over what feels right. Look at the parts of your life that haven't changed, the goals you've written for years, the habits you've been trying to fix, the dreams you keep postponing, the routines that no longer support who you want to become. What's stopping you is not fear, it's attachment to comfort. You fear discomfort because you think it will break you. The truth is the opposite. Comfort breaks you slowly. Discomfort builds you quickly. Think about every breakthrough in your life. None of them came from ease. They came when you were stretched, challenged, pushed. They came from uncertainty, from effort, from risk. You didn't grow because things were easy. You grew because they weren't. You do not need to be fearless to grow. You need to be willing. You need to move while scared. You need to take action before you feel ready. You need to break the belief that discomfort is danger. Most discomfort is simply unused potential, asking to be developed. The people who grow fast don't wait for the perfect moment. They choose movement. They do not need clarity before starting. They find clarity through action. They do not need guarantees. They build confidence by confronting uncertainty. They move first and adjust later. That is why they rise, while others stall. Growth is a decision to stop protecting your limitations, a decision to stop letting your moods dictate your actions, a decision to stop repeating the same day, the same year, the same life, a decision to demand more from yourself, not someday, but now. If you want a stronger life, you must embrace discomfort with intention. Start by choosing the thing you've been avoiding. Start small, but start now. Wake up earlier. Study when you don't feel like it. Have the difficult conversation. Go to the gym on the days you want to quit. Say no to distractions. Say yes to the challenge you keep postponing. These choices may feel uncomfortable, but they are the birthplace of a new identity. Every time you choose discomfort, you reclaim power from the old version of you. Every time you lean into challenge, you expand your capacity. Every time you show up when it's hard, you send a message to your future. I am becoming someone who cannot be stopped. Momentum doesn't come from comfort. It comes from deciding you're done waiting. It comes from urgency, from intensity, from understanding that you do not have unlimited time to become the person you want to be. Growth is not slow. It is immediate, the moment you choose it. You will never look back and regret doing the hard thing. You will only regret waiting. You will only regret the years comfort stole from you. You will only regret the times you chose safety instead of becoming more. Stop waiting. Stop negotiating. Stop settling for the life that feels familiar, but not fulfilling. Let go of comfort. Chase the version of you that discomfort will shape. Move fast. Move intentionally. Move now. Because the life you want is not found in ease. It is found in evolution. And evolution never happens inside the lines of comfort. Chapter 7. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Pressure is not the enemy. Your relationship with it is. Most people break, not because their situation is too heavy, but because their mind was never trained to hold weight. They panic when things get difficult. They react emotionally. They lose clarity. They collapse into frustration, fear, or impulsive decisions. And every time they do, they reinforce a dangerous belief. I can't handle this. But here is the truth you must accept if you want to rise. Life will not get easier. You must get stronger. Pressure is guaranteed. Stress is guaranteed. Challenges, setbacks, disappointment, they are all guaranteed. What isn't guaranteed is your reaction. That is something you can train. That is something you can control. That is something that can become your greatest advantage. Staying calm under pressure is not pretending everything is fine. It is remaining grounded when everything is not. It is refusing to let emotions make your decisions. It is choosing clarity over chaos. It is creating space between what happens and how you respond. That space, tiny as it may be, is the difference between moving forward and falling apart. Most people never develop this skill because they treat stress as a threat instead of a training ground. When tension rises, they lash out, shut down, or spin in anxiety. Their nervous system goes into fight or flight, and they let it run the show. But a trained mind does the opposite. A trained mind pauses, breathes, observes, responds. Your breath is your first tool. When you inhale deeply, slowly, intentionally, You signal your nervous system to deactivate panic. You pull yourself out of survival mode. You bring your brain back online. This is not spiritual fluff. This is biology. Your breath controls your state, and your state controls your decisions. Every calm decision you make under pressure is a moment of self-leadership. Spiritually, remaining calm raises your frequency. Panic scatters energy. Clarity concentrates it. When you stay centered, you become magnetic. You stop chasing solutions and begin attracting them. You stop moving from fear and start moving from alignment. You stop reacting like the old you and begin responding like the evolved you. Calmness is not weakness. It is power in its purest, quietest form. You must begin practicing calm in small moments before you face big ones. Every irritation, every inconvenience, every minor frustration is a chance to build your mental strength. When traffic tests you, breathe. When someone speaks to you harshly, pause. When your plans fall apart, observe without spiraling. Tell yourself, this is a test. I respond, not react. These micro repetitions build a new emotional muscle. They rewire your identity from someone who collapses under stress to someone who carries it with precision. People misunderstand toughness. They think it looks loud, aggressive, forceful. But real toughness is quiet. It is the person who doesn't need to raise their voice to stay in control. It is the person who doesn't crumble when plans fall apart. It is the person who is steady when others lose their balance. Calmness is authority. Calmness is confidence. Calmness is inner mastery. Pressure reveals who you truly are. If you spend your life feeding impatience, complaining, and emotional reactivity, pressure will expose that weakness. But if you train awareness, discipline, and presence, pressure will expose your strength. It will become the environment where you operate at your highest level. From a scientific perspective, the prefrontal cortex, the decision maker of your brain, only functions properly when you're calm. When you panic, your brain literally shuts down the part responsible for rational thought. But when you train yourself to stay steady, you train your mind to remain available. Pressure becomes a setting where you think clearer, not worse. You learn to use stress as fuel instead of letting it consume you. So ask yourself honestly, when life hits, do you react or respond? Do you panic or do you breathe? Do you collapse or do you hold your ground? Do you lose control or do you claim it? You will not always get it right. That's not the point. The point is to train, to improve, to become someone who can handle more today than you could yesterday. This is the path to resilience. This is the path to mental strength. This is the path to becoming unshakable. The real goal is not to eliminate pressure, but to outgrow the level of pressure that used to break you. To face the same situations with a new level of control. To rise above the emotional triggers that once defined you. To become someone who doesn't crumble in chaos, but grows sharper inside it. Every challenge in your life is an invitation. Stay calm, stay aware, stay grounded, stay in control. You are not training your mind for the easy days. Anyone can handle those. You are training for the days when everything goes wrong. The days when your emotions rise. The days when pressure hits without warning. Those are the moments that define your character, your future, your destiny. Stay calm, not because life is gentle, but because you are powerful enough to handle it. Stay calm, not because things are perfect, but because you are becoming someone who does not need perfection to stay in control. Stay calm, because the greatest strength you can develop is the ability to lead yourself in the moments that would break most people. This is how you rise. This is how you endure. This is how you transform pressure into power. Chapter 8. Break your limits by showing up when it's hard. Limits are not walls. They are signals, markings on the edge of who you have been, inviting you to become someone new. Most people never break their limits because they only act when it feels easy. They wait for motivation. They wait for energy. They wait for clarity. They wait for conditions to align. And while they wait, their life stays the same. Growth does not happen when you feel ready. Growth happens when you choose to move before you feel ready. Every time you show up in discomfort, you are teaching your mind, I am stronger than my excuses. I am stronger than my moods. I am stronger than my past patterns. This single belief is the foundation of transformation. You must understand something. Your limits are rarely physical. They are psychological. They live inside your assumptions, your memories, your fears, the old stories you keep repeating to yourself. When you say, "This is too hard," what you really mean is, "This is unfamiliar." When you say, "I can't do this," what you really mean is, "I've never done this before." Limits feel real because your mind treats comfort as safety. But safety is not growth. Familiarity is not transformation. If you want to break your limits, you must face the moments when your mind screams, "Stop." Those moments are your threshold, the barrier between who you were and who you are becoming. When you push through that threshold, something incredible happens. Your nervous system adapts, your tolerance increases, your confidence grows, your identity shifts, you expand. Spiritually, showing up when it's hard is an energetic initiation. The universe never gives expansion without resistance. Pressure is proof of potential. Hardship is proof of direction. Every challenge is a doorway, and the discomfort you feel is the key that unlocks a higher level of self. The people who rise are not the ones who avoid challenges. They are the ones who walk straight into them. But you cannot break limits if you keep disappearing in the moments that matter. Notice your patterns. Where do you quit? When do you pull back? What excuses surface when things get difficult? Do you negotiate with yourself? Do you let tiredness win? Do you let fear lead the conversation? These are your real limits, not the obstacles outside you, but the resistance within you. Breaking limits is not about massive, dramatic effort. It's about consistent presence. When it's hard, shrink your focus. Don't look at the entire mountain. Look at the next step. Do one more rep. Write one more paragraph. Show up for one more hour. When your mind says, "This is too much," respond with, "Just a little more." That little more compounds into a different life. From a scientific perspective, this is how neuroplasticity works. The brain strengthens circuits that are repeatedly activated, especially under stress. When you push through discomfort, you literally create new pathways that make hard things feel easier over time. Limits dissolve because your brain reprograms itself to handle more. Momentum is not created by inspiration. Momentum is created by action, especially action taken on the days when your energy is low, your motivation is gone, and your emotions are messy. Those are the days that matter. Those are the days that build you. Those are the days that break your limits. Anyone can act when life is smooth. But the person who acts when life is heavy becomes unstoppable. You do not need to feel strong to be strong. Some of your most powerful breakthroughs will happen while you are tired, uncertain, or afraid. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It is choosing to move despite it. Tell yourself, "This is the part where I used to quit," and this time I won't. This is the moment that grows me. This discomfort is not a stop sign. It's a doorway. Break your limits by changing your response to difficulty. Break your limits by refusing to disappear. Break your limits by showing up again and again, even when you feel like you have nothing left. Because every time you show up when it's hard, you rise. Every time you push through resistance, you evolve. Every time you stay when your old self would have run, you reclaim power from the past. This is how greatness is built. One difficult day at a time. One uncomfortable action at a time. One moment of courage at a time. Keep walking through the hard moments. They are shaping you. They are preparing you. They are building the version of you that can hold the life you're trying to create. Your limits are not the end. They are the beginning. And every time you show up when it's hard, you step into a larger version of who you are meant to be. Chapter 9. Keep promises you make to yourself every day. Your entire life is shaped by a single relationship, the relationship between you and your own word, not the promises you make to others, not the commitments you post online, but the quiet agreements you whisper to yourself when no one else is listening. I'll wake up early. I'll start eating better. I'll stay focused. I'll finish this task. I'll stop wasting time. These small promises reveal your standards, and whether you keep them or break them determines your identity more than anything else. Most people don't lack goals. They lack self-trust, because they've broken their own word so many times that their mind no longer believes them. When you repeatedly say you'll do something and then ignore it, you don't just miss a task. You damage your relationship with yourself. You teach your mind that your words are optional, your commitments are flexible, your intentions are disposable. You build a reputation with yourself, and that reputation determines everything. Your confidence, your discipline, your consistency, your progress. If you cannot trust your own word, nothing else in your life will feel stable. Self-respect is not built in public. It is built in silence. In the small moments where you choose to honor your commitments, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unnoticed. Keeping promises to yourself is how you become someone you can rely on. And when you can rely on yourself, you become unstoppable. Because you no longer need motivation, approval, or external pressure to act. You act because your identity demands it. From a psychological perspective, every promise you keep strengthens the neural pathways associated with discipline, consistency, and reward. Every promise you break strengthens the pathways associated with guilt, avoidance, and low self-worth. Your brain is always watching you. It takes notes. It remembers. It forms beliefs based on your behavior, not your intentions. From a spiritual perspective, your word is your energetic signature. When your actions and your intentions match, your energy becomes coherent. Your thoughts align. Your emotions stabilize. Your intuition heightens. You move through life with a grounded magnetic power. But when you break your word, your energy fragments. You become scattered, unaligned, out of sync. You chase things instead of attracting them. This is why keeping promises to yourself is not just about discipline. It is about alignment. It is about integrity. It is about becoming someone whose inner world and outer world match. So ask yourself honestly, how often do you keep your own word? How often do you negotiate with yourself? How often do you break promises and pretend it doesn't matter? It matters. It matters deeply. Because every broken promise weakens your belief in your own potential, and every kept promise strengthens it. But here is the good news. Self-trust can be rebuilt. One small commitment at a time. You don't fix this by making huge promises or dramatic resolutions. You fix it by choosing one simple promise and keeping it every day. Something small enough that you cannot justify skipping it. Something meaningful enough that it pulls you forward. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Read one page. Take one walk. Do one task. Drink one glass of water with intention. It's not about the action. It's about the consistency. It's not about the size. It's about the follow-through. Every time you keep a promise, your mind says, I can trust myself again. Every time you follow through, your identity shifts. I am someone who does what I say. And once you become that person, everything changes. Your confidence rises. Your discipline strengthens. Your decisions become clearer. Your internal voice becomes louder than your excuses. You no longer depend on motivation. You depend on integrity. Think about the people you admire. They are not admired because they talk big. They are admired because they follow through. They are consistent. They respect their own word. They act even when no one is watching. You must become one of those people, not for applause, but for yourself. Keeping promises to yourself is the ultimate form of self-care. It is the foundation of self-respect. It is the birthplace of personal power. When your mind knows that your word is law, procrastination crumbles, doubt fades, discipline becomes natural, and progress becomes inevitable. This does not mean you must be perfect. You will slip. You will miss days. You will break a promise occasionally. But what matters is your pattern, not your setbacks. When you fall, you do not hide. You recommit. You honor the promise again. You rebuild the integrity of your word. Let your actions speak louder than your intentions. Let your consistency speak louder than your motivation. Let your follow-through speak louder than your excuses. You don't need to announce your goals. Just keep your promises, quietly, relentlessly, daily. Because the life you want is built in silence, brick by brick, action by action, promise by promise. Start today. Choose one promise. Keep it. Then keep it again tomorrow, and again the next day. That is how self-trust is rebuilt. That is how confidence is earned. That is how you become someone who no longer waits for change, but becomes the force that creates it. Your word is your power. Use it wisely. Honor it deeply. Protect it fiercely. Chapter 10. Do the boring things until they build your future success is not built in extraordinary moments. It is built in ordinary ones. Not when everything feels exciting, but when everything feels repetitive. Not when motivation is high, but when motivation is gone. The truth most people refuse to accept is this. Your future is shaped by the boring things you do consistently, not the impressive things you do occasionally. People fail not because they are incapable, but because they chase stimulation. They want every day to feel inspiring. They want constant results, constant progress, constant excitement. And when the work becomes routine, they drift, they quit, or they start over. They believe boredom means they're on the wrong path, when in reality, boredom means they're finally on the right one. Anything meaningful, health, wealth, mastery, discipline, confidence, is built through repetition, not intensity. It is built through brushing your teeth every day, not whitening them once a year. Through saving a little every month, not making one dramatic financial gesture. Through showing up to your craft regularly, not when inspiration strikes. Through practicing fundamentals, even when they feel dull. You must stop expecting the process to entertain you. The process is supposed to refine you. The results are supposed to reward you. But the work itself is often quiet, slow, uneventful. And that is exactly why it works. Psychologically, the brain adapts through repetition. Neural pathways strengthen when actions are repeated consistently. Discipline becomes automatic not through grand effort, but through small routines performed over and over until they're second nature. This is how you rewire yourself, through fundamentals, not fireworks. Spiritually, the boring tasks create energetic alignment. They stabilize your frequency. They build inner order. They ground your intentions into physical reality. Anyone can visualize a dream, but only disciplined repetition anchors that vision into the material world. The universe responds to consistency. It reflects your patterns, not your wishes. The people who build extraordinary lives are not the ones doing extraordinary things. They are the ones doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. Look at your goals: a stronger body, built from hundreds of unglamorous workouts; a calm mind, built from daily moments of silence; a successful business, built from countless small tasks no one sees; financial stability, built from all the times you didn't spend impulsively; self-respect, built from the promises you kept on days you didn't feel like it. Boring is the foundation. Repetition is the path. Consistency is the engine. But many people sabotage themselves because they confuse boredom with failure. They think if it doesn't feel exciting, it isn't working. They think if progress isn't instant, something's wrong. They chase novelty instead of mastery. They chase stimulation instead of results. You must shift this belief. You must learn to find meaning, not excitement, in the repetition. You must learn to value progress, not dopamine. You must learn to build, not just begin. No one becomes powerful by constantly starting over. You become powerful by continuing, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. Think about the routines you've abandoned. Think about how many times you restarted. Think about all the progress that slipped through your fingers because you thought you needed motivation. You didn't need motivation. You needed consistency through boredom. Show up on the days that feel dull. Show up on the days when results don't appear. Show up on the days when the work feels invisible. These are the days that separate who you are now from who you're becoming. When you commit to doing the boring things, something incredible happens. You create momentum that becomes unstoppable. Your brain adapts, your identity shifts, your discipline strengthens, your results compound. Consistency becomes a force of nature. You stop thinking about whether to do something. You simply do it. You stop negotiating with yourself. You follow through. You stop relying on motivation. Your habits carry you forward. This is where transformation becomes inevitable. The magic you're looking for is hidden inside the routines you keep avoiding. The early alarms, the disciplined meals, the daily reading, the silent reflection, the steady work, the planned finances, the quiet evenings improving your craft. This is the soil that grows your future. You must stop asking, "How do I stay motivated?" and start asking, "How do I stay consistent?" The answer is simple. Do the boring things until they are no longer boring. Do them until they are part of you. Do them until you don't have to think. They just happen. Do them until the results become undeniable. One day, people will look at your life and say, "How did you get there?" And you will know the truth. I did the things no one noticed. I repeated what most people abandoned. I stayed when others quit. I built my life in silence. Your future is not waiting for inspiration. It is waiting for repetition. It is waiting for daily effort. It is waiting for the discipline to do the simple things, especially when they are boring. Start today. Choose one boring task and do it with intention. Then do it again tomorrow, and again, the next day, brick by brick, day by day, habit by habit. This is how you build a future strong enough to hold your dreams, not through excitement, but through consistency. Chapter 11. Build a mind that chooses focus over distraction. Life isn't speeding up. Your mind is slowing down. Every notification, every scroll, every open tab, every impulse to check something for just a moment fragments your attention. And fragmented attention leads to a fragmented life. Most people don't struggle with lack of potential. They struggle with lack of focus. They know what to do, but their mind is too scattered to do it long enough for results to appear. Focus is not simply a skill. It is a spiritual discipline. It is a mental weapon. It is a form of self-respect. A focused mind creates a focused life. A distracted mind creates a distracted life. The danger is subtle. Distraction feels harmless. It feels small. It feels comfortable. But distraction is not neutral. It is destructive. It steals your time, drains your energy, reshapes your habits, and weakens your identity. If you lose your focus, you lose everything that depends on it. Discipline, clarity, creativity, confidence, momentum. Most people live in a state of constant mental noise. Their attention is pulled in 1,000 different directions. Their thoughts are chaotic. Their goals are blurry. Their time is filled with tasks that look productive but lead nowhere. They are busy but not effective, active but not progressing, always doing something but never doing the thing that matters. You must reclaim your mind. A mind without focus is like a lamp with no direction. It glows, but it does not illuminate. A focused mind is a laser. It cuts through noise, distractions, and excuses. It makes progress inevitable. It turns effort into results. From a scientific perspective, focus strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, discipline, and long-term planning. When you choose focus, you literally strengthen the neural circuits that make you powerful. When you choose distraction, those circuits weaken. You become reactive, impulsive, emotionally fragile, easily overwhelmed. Spiritually, focus is alignment. It is coherence between intention and action. When your focus is clean, your energy becomes sharper. Your intuition strengthens. Your presence deepens. You move through life with purpose instead of anxiety. The universe responds to focused energy. It cannot respond to scattered chaos. The first step to building focus is eliminating the lie that you need more time. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. Examine where your attention goes. How often do you check your phone? How many times do you switch tasks? How many hours disappear into scrolling, entertainment, or noise? How often do you start something but never finish? Your future is being shaped by these small, unseen decisions. To regain focus, you must create boundaries around your attention. That means protecting your mornings. That means having hours where your phone is off, or in another room. That means reducing digital clutter. That means saying no more often. Not because you're antisocial, but because you're intentional. Set clear intentions for your day. Choose your top 3 priorities. Keep your environment clean and your schedule simple. When you work, work deeply. When you rest, rest fully. When you commit to a task, finish it. Build a mind that knows how to stay with one thing long enough for momentum to build. The truth is, focus isn't always pleasant. It's not always exciting. Your mind will resist. It will seek stimulation. It will crave the comfort of distraction. But every moment you choose to stay, you strengthen yourself. Every moment you resist the impulse to switch, you rise above the noise. Every moment you protect your focus, you protect your future. And you must be prepared for this. The world will not support your focus. It will try to intrude, interrupt, and distract you at every turn. Most people will not understand why you're so disciplined with your time. They won't see your focus as a form of power because they don't have it. But that is exactly why you must cultivate it. Because people without focus become servants to those who have it. People without focus drift. People without focus repeat the same year over and over. People without focus live reactive, unfocused lives. But people with focus, they move differently, think differently, decide differently, succeed differently. Building focus does not require perfection. It requires presence. It requires return. Every time your mind wanders, bring it back. Every time you fall into distraction, reset. Every time you lose clarity, pause and refocus. The power is not in never drifting. It is in never staying drifted. Focus is a lifelong practice, a spiritual sharpening, a mental training, and the stronger your focus becomes, the more unstoppable your growth will be. A distracted mind survives. A focused mind builds. A distracted mind reacts. A focused mind leads. A distracted mind lives by chance. A focused mind lives by intention. Start today. Choose one thing to eliminate. Choose one thing to complete. Choose 1 hour to protect. Your future will be built in those quiet moments where you choose focus instead of noise. Chapter 12. Stop seeking permission and lead your own life. Most people never rise, not because they lack ability, but because they keep waiting for someone to tell them it's okay to move. They wait for approval. They wait for validation. They wait for the right moment, the right sign, the right encouragement. They wait for permission that will never come. And while they wait, their potential sits untouched. Their dreams collect dust. Their life becomes a reflection of hesitation instead of intention. You must understand this truth. No one is coming to save you, guide you, build you, or push you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. No one is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Now is the time. Now you may begin." Life does not work that way. You are the permission. You are the green light. You are the turning point. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to validate your choices is the moment you begin leading your own life. You cannot build a powerful life with a follower's mindset. You cannot rise while expecting others to elevate you. You cannot grow if your decisions depend on who understands, who approves, or who claps for you. The more you rely on external encouragement, the weaker your internal compass becomes. From a psychological perspective, constantly seeking permission keeps you in a childlike state. It stunts maturity. It prevents autonomy. It keeps you dependent on external cues instead of internal direction. Your brain becomes trained to wait instead of act, to hesitate instead of decide, to follow instead of lead. Spiritually, seeking permission is energetic contraction. It signals fear, doubt, and scarcity. It says, "I do not trust myself. I do not trust my path. I do not trust my inner voice." But when you stop asking for permission, your energy expands. You move into alignment. Your intuition strengthens. You begin making choices from your future, not your fears. Leadership begins with one question. What do I want this life to become? Not what your parents want, not what society expects, not what your friends approve of, not what your past self believed. You cannot follow your inner calling if you're busy obeying the expectations of others. People who live powerful lives all share one trait. They decide. They decide before they feel ready. They decide before they have proof. They decide even if others disagree. They decide because they understand that their life is their responsibility. When you stop waiting for permission, you take ownership of every part of your existence. Your time, your energy, your habits, your direction, your identity. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for growing. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop asking for opinions from people who have never built what you're trying to build. You begin acting from conviction instead of fear. And you must accept this. The moment you start leading yourself, people will criticize you. Not because you're wrong, but because your courage exposes their hesitation. Your movement threatens their comfort. Your confidence mirrors their doubts. People judge what they secretly wish they could do. Let them judge. Let them misunderstand. Let them talk. Your responsibility is not to be understood. Your responsibility is to grow. Leadership will require choices that confuse others. It will require boundaries that disappoint others. It will require standards that intimidate others. But that's the price of owning your life. You must stop diluting your potential for the sake of being liked. You must stop holding back for the sake of fitting in. You must stop asking people who are afraid of their own dreams to approve of yours. Lead yourself, even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if no one supports you yet. Because once you take the first steps, life begins to rearrange around your decisions. Opportunities arise, people align, circumstances shift. The universe responds to leaders, not to followers. Leadership is not about controlling others. Leadership is about controlling yourself, your impulses, your fears, your habits, your direction. Leadership is not about being loud. Leadership is about being clear, about knowing who you are becoming and moving toward it with intention. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need approval to change. You don't need validation to grow. Everything you want begins with this internal declaration: I choose myself. Choose yourself even when you doubt. Choose yourself even when you fear judgment. Choose yourself even when no one claps. Choose yourself even when the path is unclear. You lead first. Life follows second. Stop waiting for permission. Step forward. Step boldly. Step with conviction. Your life is waiting for you to take command. Chapter 13. Master self-discipline before you master anything else. Every breakthrough you want, more confidence, more money, better health, stronger habits, deeper peace, begins in one place: self-discipline. Without it, your potential stays unreachable. With it, your life becomes unstoppable. Discipline is the hinge on which every transformation swings. It is the difference between intention and action, between wishing and becoming, between dreaming and doing. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it's punishment. They think it's restriction. They think it's something harsh, cold, or exhausting. But discipline is none of that. Discipline is self-respect in action. It is the commitment to honor your future self more than your current mood. It is choosing long-term alignment over momentary impulses. It is showing up for the life you want, even when the short-term path feels uncomfortable. If motivation is the spark, discipline is the engine. Motivation fades. Discipline endures. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays and grows. People lose momentum because they rely on motivation alone. They wait to feel like it. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the perfect mood. They wait for energy. They wait for convenience. But waiting is just a sophisticated form of avoidance. And avoidance is how potential dies. You cannot build anything meaningful while obeying your feelings. Your feelings are inconsistent. Your discipline must not be. From a neurological perspective, discipline strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that governs decisions, planning, and emotional control. Each time you follow through, you reinforce neural pathways that make self-discipline easier the next time. Every act of discipline is a message to your brain. I am in control, not my impulses. Spiritually, discipline is energetic alignment with your higher self. It is choosing the version of you that is calling from the future instead of the version of you that is clinging to the past. Discipline is a vibration. It radiates clarity. It attracts stability. It signals to the universe that you are ready to receive what you keep asking for. Without discipline, your energy is inconsistent, and inconsistent energy produces inconsistent results. You cannot manifest what you are not prepared to maintain. Discipline doesn't require intensity. It requires consistency. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It requires return. Every day you return to your commitments, even in small ways, you strengthen your identity. You become someone who does the work, even when it's not exciting, even when it's repetitive, even when no one notices. This is the internal shift that creates external change. Look at your patterns. How often do you break commitments because they feel inconvenient? How often do you talk about your goals without taking aligned action? How often do you negotiate with yourself? How many times have you restarted because you didn't stay consistent? These patterns are not problems. They're indicators. They reveal the areas where discipline must be strengthened. And discipline is built the same way you build a muscle. Through resistance. Every time you push through resistance, you grow. Every time you overcome the urge to quit, you rise. Every time you follow through when you don't feel like it, you evolve. Small acts create massive change. Wake up when you said you would. Finish the task you promised to complete. Skip the distraction you said you'd avoid. Show up to the workout even if your energy is low. Study even when your motivation is cold. These small victories compound into power. Discipline is not about doing everything. It is about doing what matters, every day. You must simplify your commitments. Pick the actions that directly move your life forward. Not 10 of them, just 2 or 3. Then repeat them relentlessly until they become automatic. Discipline thrives on simplicity and structure. It suffocates in chaos. Most people make their goals complicated, so they have an excuse to avoid them. You must do the opposite. Make your goals simple so you can execute them. Understand this. Discipline is kindness to your future self. It is freedom disguised as effort. It is the doorway to a life without regret. Anything that feels hard now is making your life easier later. Anything that feels easy now is making your life harder later. If you want a life of strength, choose discipline. If you want a life of clarity, choose discipline. If you want a life you're proud of, choose discipline. When you control your habits, you control your destiny. When you discipline your mind, you discipline your life. When you master yourself, there is nothing outside of you that can overpower you. Self-discipline is not about force. It's about alignment. It's about identity. It's about intention turned into action. The person you become through discipline is stronger than the person you were through comfort. Choose discipline today. Choose it again tomorrow. Choose it until it becomes who you are. Your future self is waiting. Meet them with consistency. Meet them with strength. Meet them with discipline. Chapter 14. Raise your standards or lower your life. Your standards are the invisible ceiling of your life. You will never rise above the level you are willing to demand from yourself. You can set goals, create plans, visualize success. But if your standards remain low, your results will remain low. Life does not give you what you want. Life gives you what you tolerate. Your standards shape your habits. Your standards shape your relationships. Your standards shape your self-worth. Your standards shape your future. If you tolerate inconsistency, you will live inconsistently. If you tolerate excuses, you will live surrounded by them. If you tolerate low effort, you will get low results. If you tolerate chaos, your life will always feel overwhelming. Raising your standards is not about arrogance. It is about alignment. It is a declaration that the old version of you is no longer allowed to run your life. It is choosing to stop settling for good enough when your soul is asking for more. Most people don't fail from lack of desire. They fail because they accept a life beneath their potential. They accept jobs that drain them, relationships that limit them, habits that weaken them, and environments that distract them. They adapt to mediocrity. They normalize the bare minimum. You must refuse to live that way. From a psychological perspective, your standards operate like internal rules. They dictate your behavior without you realizing it. If your standard is, I work out when I feel like it, you will rarely work out. If your standard is, I do the bare minimum, your results will always reflect it. If your standard is, I respond to drama, you will always be pulled into chaos. But when your standard is, I honor my commitments, your behavior changes. Your identity changes. Your life changes. Spiritually, your standards determine your vibration. Low standards create low energy, disorder, self-doubt, stagnation. High standards elevate your frequency, clarity, confidence, direction. The universe responds to your standards because your standards signal what you are energetically available for. Raise your standards, and life must rise to meet them. Lower your standards, and life will shrink accordingly. You must look at your life with absolute honesty. Ask yourself, what am I currently tolerating that is lowering my potential? People who drain you, habits that weaken you, a routine that numbs you, a mindset that keeps you small. Your standards are revealed in your daily behavior, not your dreams. You break old patterns not by force, but by refusing to accept anything less than the person you intend to become. Raising your standards looks like this: saying no to people who disrespect your time. Saying no to habits that steal your energy. Saying no to behaviors that keep you stuck. Saying no to environments that don't support your growth. Saying yes only to what aligns with your highest self. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Your old life will resist. People around you will resist. Your own mind will resist. Because raising your standards threatens the parts of you that were built on comfort, fear, and familiarity. But this resistance is a sign that you're evolving, not breaking. You must understand this. Standards are not preferences. Standards are rules. A preference says, I want to wake up early. A standard says, I wake up early. A preference says, I want better boundaries. A standard says, I enforce my boundaries. A preference says, I want success. A standard says, I behave like someone who succeeds. Raise your standards high enough, and your life has no choice but to follow. Raise your standards high enough, and your circle will change. Raise your standards high enough, and your habits will transform. Raise your standards high enough, and your identity will shift. Once you hold yourself to a higher standard, You no longer participate in your old patterns. You no longer respond to your old triggers. You no longer settle for the things that once consumed your time and energy. This is how you elevate your life, not by force, but by alignment, not by intensity, but by identity, not by perfection, but by refusing to settle. You don't have to raise your standards in every area at once. Focus on one, then another, then another. Every time you raise a standard, you raise your life. Every time you raise your life, you raise your destiny. The world around you will adjust. Your opportunities will shift. Your energy will strengthen. Your future will expand. Because you stopped asking for a better life and started requiring it. Raise your standards or accept a life beneath your potential. The choice is yours. Chapter 15. Choose identity over motivation. Every lasting change begins in the same place, not with a goal, not with motivation, not with inspiration, but with identity. Who you believe you are creates every habit, every decision, every action, every pattern in your life. You cannot outperform the identity you hold about yourself. You cannot rise above the story you keep repeating in your mind. You say you want to be disciplined. But do you identify as someone disciplined? You say you want to be successful. But do you identify as someone worthy of success? You say you want to grow. But do you identify as someone capable of growth? Your actions will always return to the level of your identity. This is why motivation fails. It tries to change behavior without changing the person underneath. Motivation pushes you temporarily, but identity pulls you permanently. Motivation fades when emotions shift. Identity stays even when emotions collapse. This is why people start new habits and quickly return to old ones. They change the surface, but not the foundation. They change the behavior, but not the belief. They try to force themselves into a new life while holding on to an old identity. Identity is stronger than willpower. Identity is stronger than motivation. Identity is stronger than desire. The person you think you are will always win. From a psychological perspective, identity creates cognitive consistency. Your brain fights to keep your actions aligned with your self-image. If you believe I'm inconsistent, your brain will sabotage your consistency. If you believe I always quit, your mind will look for reasons to quit. If you believe I can't succeed, your thoughts will create doubt, hesitation, and avoidance. Spiritually, identity shapes your energetic frequency. You attract experiences that match what you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you will unconsciously choose paths that reinforce struggle. If you see yourself as someone who grows, your energy will pull you toward growth. Identity is the magnet of your reality. To change your life, you must first change your identity. This begins with a powerful question. Who am I becoming? Not who you were yesterday. Not who your past mistakes say you are. Not who others believe you are, but who you intend to be now. This future identity must become your anchor. You must start acting, thinking, choosing, and showing up as that version of yourself long before you feel ready. Identity shifts begin with action, not belief. When your actions change, your brain updates its identity. When your identity updates, your actions become effortless. Identity is built through repetition. Every time you follow through, you reinforce, I am disciplined. Every time you stay focused, you reinforce, I am committed. Every time you show courage, you reinforce, I am strong. Every time you choose growth, you reinforce, I am evolving. Identity requires evidence, not emotion. Choose the identity you want. I am disciplined. I am consistent. I am focused. I am courageous. I am capable. I am unstoppable. Then give your mind daily proof. Small proof. Quiet proof. Non-negotiable proof. Identity shifts do not happen through big achievements. They happen through small, repeated alignment. One small action per day is enough to change your entire self-image if you repeat it long enough. You must stop identifying with your past. Your past actions were made by an old version of you, a version that no longer exists the moment you choose differently. You must stop identifying with your mistakes. Mistakes are events, not identities. You must stop identifying with your fears. Fear is a signal, not a definition. You must stop identifying with your struggles. Struggle is a season, not a personality. You are not your old patterns. You are not your old failures. You are not your old limitations. You are the one who chooses your next identity. And the moment you choose, life begins to align with that choice. You will notice your standards rising, your circle changing, your habits shifting, your energy strengthening. Not because you forced it, but because identity pulled your life upward. Identity is destiny. Identity is direction. Identity is power. Choose the identity that matches the future you desire, not the past you survived. Then live in alignment with it. One action, one moment, one decision at a time. And soon, you will look at your life and realize, I didn't just build new habits. I became a new person. Chapter 16. Protect your energy like your life depends on it. Your energy is your life force. It is the power behind your thoughts, your discipline, your decisions, your creativity, your resilience, your clarity, your momentum. Every outcome in your life is a reflection of your energetic state. When your energy is fragmented, your life is fragmented. When your energy is drained, your progress is drained. When your energy is strong, your direction becomes unstoppable. Most people protect their money more than their energy. Most people protect their reputation more than their energy. Most people protect their comfort more than their energy. And that is why they stay exhausted, unfocused, overwhelmed, and stuck. You must begin treating your energy as sacred, not optional, not casual. Sacred, protected like something rare, guarded like something priceless. Because it is. Your energy determines how deeply you think, how consistently you act, how well you focus, how quickly you recover, how boldly you move, how clearly you see your purpose. Your energy is not infinite. Your energy is not replaceable. Your energy is not renewable if you keep giving it away without intention. From a psychological perspective, energy is the fuel of self-control. Your brain uses energy every time you resist temptation, make decisions, stay focused, or follow through. If your energy is low, your discipline collapses. If your energy is high, your discipline strengthens. Spiritually, energy is the frequency that attracts or repels. Low energy pulls you toward fear, distraction, and stagnation. High energy pulls you toward clarity, opportunity, synchronicity, and growth. Your vibration either elevates your life or suffocates it. This is why protecting your energy is not a luxury. It is survival. Start by examining what drains you. 1. People who demand more than they give. Some relationships are emotional black holes. They drain your spirit, your confidence, your optimism. You must limit access, not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. 2. Conversations that go nowhere. Drama, gossip, complaints, negativity. These are energy thieves disguised as social connection. 3. Habits that weaken your mind, scrolling endlessly, worrying about what others think, procrastinating. These drain your energy because they keep your brain in a reactive, unfocused state. 4. Environments that clutter your thoughts. Chaotic spaces, chaotic people, chaotic routines. They scatter your mind before the day even begins. 5. Overthinking about things you cannot control. This is the most silent energy leak. It gives you the illusion of mental activity while draining your clarity and peace. You must identify each leak and close it. Not later, not eventually. Now. Then, build habits that expand your energy. 1. Protect your morning like a temple. Your first hour sets the frequency for your entire day. Do not let the world invade your mind before you ground yourself. 2. Move your body. Physical movement releases stagnant energy and creates mental momentum. 3. Be intentional about your inputs. Books, conversations, content. Everything you consume shapes your thoughts and your energy field. 4. Spend time in silence. Stillness sharpens intuition. Silence cleans the mind. Clarity grows in spaciousness, not noise. 5. Create boundaries without guilt. A boundary is not rejection. A boundary is a declaration of self-worth. 6. Give yourself recovery. Rest is not a reward, it is a requirement. You are not a machine. You are an energy system. As your energy strengthens, your entire life will begin to shift. You will notice you no longer tolerate what once drained you. You no longer engage in the same conversations. You no longer seek the same validation. You no longer allow the same chaos. Because your energy is now aligned with a higher version of yourself. People will say, "You're different." You are. You're evolving. You're no longer willing to shrink your energy to fit small environments. You're no longer available for anything that disconnects you from your purpose. This is maturity. This is leadership. This is self-respect. This is spiritual evolution. Understand this. Protecting your energy will cost you. It will cost you relationships. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you familiarity. It will cost you the version of yourself that lived for others instead of for your future. But it will give you everything you need: strength, clarity, peace, focus, power, direction. Your energy is your compass. Your energy is your foundation. Your energy is the guide that aligns you with the life you are trying to build. Protect it with intention. Protect it with boundaries. Protect it with discipline. Protect it with confidence. Because once your energy is clean, stable, and strong, nothing in your external world can stop your internal growth. Your entire life comes down to one truth. Nothing changes until you do. Not your circumstances, not your motivation, not your luck. You. Every chapter in this audiobook has been leading you to the same doorway. The realization that your inner world is the engine behind every result you create, every problem you repeat, and every breakthrough you're capable of. Most people wait for the world to shift before they do. They wait for the right moment, the right mood, the right sign, the perfect confidence. They wait so long that their life becomes a loop of hesitation, but not you, not anymore. Because now you understand that your future isn't waiting for conditions to align. Your future is waiting for you to take command. The habits you choose, the standards you set, the promises you keep, the focus you protect, the energy you guard. These are not small details. They are the architecture of your destiny. Change them, and your entire trajectory changes with them. This journey hasn't been about hype. It's been about clarity, ownership, responsibility, It's been about confronting the quiet truths that shape your life. You can't build a new life with old patterns. You can't reach higher levels with lower standards. You can't evolve while clinging to comfort. You can't create confidence without discipline. You can't grow if you refuse to get honest with yourself. But here's the good news. The moment you choose different, truly choose, everything opens. Your mind sharpens. Your behavior aligns. Your energy rises. The world around you begins to rearrange itself to match the person you're becoming. This is the real transformation. Not a dramatic overnight change, but the quiet, consistent realization that you are the creator of your identity, not the victim of your past. So as you close this audiobook, make one decision. Stop waiting. Stop negotiating. Stop repeating the version of you that life outgrew. Choose the identity that reflects the future you want. Choose the habits that strengthen that identity. Choose the standards that protect it. Choose the discipline that sustains it. Your evolution doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you say, I am responsible for my life, and I am capable of rebuilding it. Everything you want is already waiting on the other side of that decision. Step into it. Lead yourself, and don't look back. If this audiobook gave you even one moment of clarity, share it with someone who might need the same pause. And subscribe so next time, calm finds you first.